Hi, I'm Govindh Jayaraman, and this is Paper Napkin Wisdom, episode 316, and another in the Edge of the Napkin series. You know, every once in a while, you hear a line in a movie that just sticks with you, not because it's clever or flashy, because something in you recognizes it. Today's episode is about one of those lines. In this episode, we're going to lean into three simple words that can quietly change the way you lead, the way you build, and the way you see yourself. I like me. If you've ever seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you remember the moment Steve Martin's character snaps and unloads on John Candy's character, cuts him down for who he is, and Candy just sits there, takes a breath, and answers with this calm, grounded truth. I like me, my wife likes me, my customers like me because I'm the real deal. You may already feel something soften in you when you hear that because you've had those moments too, where someone judged how you showed up, what you look like, how you sound, the way you move through the world. And maybe for a long time, you tried that out, or you tried to fix that by performing instead of being. In this episode, we're going to explore what happens when you stop chasing the image of perfect as an entrepreneur or as a leader and start anchoring to your own identity instead. We're going to talk about John Candy as the ultimate unlikely star, not because he lacked talent, because on paper he didn't fit what Hollywood thought a leading man should look like. They tried to put him in the big man box, and he just kept bringing his whole heart, his empathy, and his vulnerability to every role anyway. As you listen, you might begin to notice how much of your own energy has gone into trying to fit someone else's idea of who you should be as a founder, as a CEO, as a leader in your business or your life. You may realize that some of the pressure you feel isn't coming from your goals, it's coming from the masks that you've been holding up. So, in this edge of the napkin, I want to invite you into a different kind of conversation, not about tactics, not about hacks, not about shortcuts, but about identity. We're going to look at why liking yourself, really liking yourself, isn't indulgent, isn't complacent, and is definitely not optional. It's the reason why your customers believe in you. It's the reason why your business can grow without burning you out or disappearing behind a role. It's a reason why your team trusts you. As you hear this, you might start imagining what would change if you walked into your next meeting or through your next powerful conversation with the same quiet conviction that John Candy brought to that scene. I like me. The people who matter like me because I'm the real deal. And by the time we're done today, my hope is that you'll have a simple, napkin sized way to ground yourself in that truth so that every strategy, every decision, every risk you take is built on that solid foundation of who you really are. So grab a napkin and write down those words. I like me. And as you do, just notice what shifts and let's get into it. If you were to take out a napkin right now and write down three words that describe who you are, not your roles, not your results, not the masks you've collected over time, but who you truly are, what would you write? Would you hesitate? Would you look for the right words? Would you censor yourself, even just from yourself? Or would you write something simple, something honest, something grounding, something like, I like me? Three words that are almost too plain, too unpolished, too vulnerable, and yet hold enough power to reset an entire life. Today, I want to take you into one of the most deceptively powerful lines ever spoken on screen. A line that every entrepreneur, every leader, every human who's felt too much or not enough needs to hear. A line delivered by a man who never looked like Hollywood thought a star should look, and yet became one of the most loved actors in history. A line that, in his own quiet way, is a leadership masterclass, a line from John Candy. If you've seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, you know the moment. If you haven't, you've lived it anyway and probably should see the movie. Steve Martin's character, frustrated, angry, exhausted, just lashes out at John Candy's character, who is named Del Griffith. He attacks him, not physically, but worse. He attacks who he is, his personality, his awkwardness, his talkativeness, his way of just being in the world. He cuts him with surgical precision, the way only someone overwhelmed and disconnected can do, the way a stressed out leader sometimes speaks to the people around them when they're just carrying too much pressure and not enough perspective. And then Candy looks at him, eyes soft, voice steady, not defensive, not wounded, not angry, just real. And he says, I like me. My wife likes me. My customers like me because I'm the real deal. It's simple. It's human. It's disarming. It's identity level strength in its purest form. Not arrogance, not bravado, not armor, just truth. And that truth has the power to change how you lead, how you build, how you show up, and how you see yourself. Let's go back for a moment. John Candy was an unlikely superstar. Not because he wasn't funny, not because he lacked talent, not because he didn't work hard, because Hollywood, like the machine of Hollywood, wanted people who fit a mold. Leading men were supposed to look a certain way. Heroes were supposed to have jawlines cut from marble. Comedians were supposed to be quirky, but not messy. And sidekicks could be big guys, but stars, they weren't supposed to be. John Candy didn't fit. He wasn't the look, he wasn't the type, and yet the brand that Hollywood wanted, well, the people decided they wanted something different. And yet, what happened? People adored him. Why? Because he carried something far more magnetic than image. He carried himself fully, openly, lovably, without apology. He didn't fit Hollywood. Hollywood tried to fit him into big man roles, but he never let those roles define him. He defined the role. He brought heart, empathy, vulnerability, and yeah, joy into every character. He was always the outsider, but he never treated himself like one. He liked himself. And when you like you, people feel it. They trust it. They're drawn to it. They follow it. There's a lesson in that for every entrepreneur who's ever felt too young, too old, too different, too quiet, too loud, too intense, too unconventional, too anything. You're not too anything. You're you. And that might be the very thing people are waiting for. Let me speak to you in the way leaders rarely get spoken to. When you strip away the titles, the goals, the KPI, the strategies, and the armor, most entrepreneurs are building from a place that is far more vulnerable than they ever admit. So many of them are asking a question: am I enough? Am I smart enough to run this? Am I strong enough to carry this? Am I good enough to lead the team? Capable enough to pull it off? Worthy enough of success, bigger than anything I've ever seen before? A lot of leaders live with constant pressure to prove themselves, to fit some kind of mold of what great leadership should or could be, to look like other entrepreneurs who seem more polished, more confident, more established. But here's the truth. If you build from insecurity, you build a cage. If you build from identity, you build an empire. And that's why the line hits so hard. I like me. Not I'm perfect, not I'm better than others, not I'm the best, not I figured it all out. No, I like me. It's humble, it's solid, it's grounded, it's powerful. Leadership isn't about how you look. Leadership isn't about your pedigree. Leadership isn't about fitting into a system that was never designed for you. Leadership is identity. And identity is contagious. When you're around someone who genuinely likes who they are, not in an inflated way, but in an anchored way, you trust them. You listen differently. You relax your guard. You open to possibility. As a leader, when you like you make clearer decisions. You say yes for the right reasons. You say no without guilt. You build teams that thrive. You create psychological safety. You attract people who resonate with your energy, not with your performance. And you remain wildly curious about the world around you. And here's the key: people who follow leaders who know who they are, and people trust leaders who like who they are, because it means they don't need to perform or overperform. They don't need to mask. They don't need to pretend. And that's rare. It's magnetic. It's powerful because it's real. So let's go deeper. If you've ever felt yourself resisting your own greatness, minimizing your accomplishments, or questioning whether you belong at the next level, this part's for you. Here's the truth: you've been there. You've felt judged for how you look, how you sound, how you think, how you build, how you lead, how you speak. You've had moments where someone, a boss, colleague, parent, partner, friend, said something that just cut way too close. Something that made you wonder if you were too much or not enough. You know this terrain, we all do. And there's a voice inside you right now that says, you should be further ahead. You should be more impressive. You should be more polished. You should be someone they instantly respect. And you've believed that voice long enough that it feels true. But what if it isn't? What if that voice isn't wisdom, but fear? Not intuition, but conditioning. Not identity, but insecurity. What if you could shift right now to a different voice, a deeper one that whispers? You're allowed to be you. You're allowed to be enough. You're allowed to like yourself. You're allowed to grow without apologizing. The real problem that entrepreneurs and leaders face is not competition, not the economy. It's not market conditions. It's not customer acquisition. It's not team retention. The real problem boils down to this: they forget their own value. They forget the reason why people trust them. They forget the reason why people buy from them. They forget the reason people follow them. And that reason has nothing to do with what they produce. It has everything to do with who they are. When you don't like yourself deeply, you overgive, you overexplain, you overcompensate, you overperform, you overwork, you overcommit, you undercharge, you underdelegate, you underestimate your own potential. And eventually you burn out, you shrink, and you collapse under the weight of trying to become someone else. That's not a business problem. That's an identity problem. And that means the solution lives inside. So imagine for a moment, just imagine that you liked yourself the way John Candy liked himself. Imagine walking into a meeting with that kind of energy. Imagine negotiating from that level of self-trust and self-love. Imagine leading a team where you're not trying to hide anything. Imagine building a business where the foundation is you, unchanged, unapologetic, unmasked. Imagine how quickly people would trust you. Imagine how attracted the right customers would be to you. Imagine how clear you'd become in your own decisions, how curious you'd become about the information. Imagine how much energy you'd reclaim if you weren't wasting time trying to be someone else. You don't need anyone's approval to like you. And once you do, people feel it and everything changes. The solution is not strategy. The solution is not tactics. The solution is not another tool, book, or hack or shortcut. The simple solution is one radical daily decision. I'm me and I like me just the way I am. When you say this quietly, consistently, something inside reorganizes. Your posture changes, your tone changes, your belief in your ideas changes, your curiosity about the world changes, your tolerance for disrespect changes, your approach for conflict changes, your clarity about the future changes, your boundaries strengthen, your confidence becomes real, not performative. And people notice quickly. You want to lead at the next level? Start here. Like yourself deeply, consistently, unconditionally, just the way you are. Not in the future, not when you hit a goal, not when the business is ready, not when others validate you, not when there's an applause, now. Because if you don't like you now, you won't like you then either. Your identity will simply grow with the same insecurities at a larger scale. But when you like yourself now, your future becomes a place where you're excited to grow into, not a place you hope will fix you. John Candy didn't try to be anyone else. He didn't chase the Hollywood mold. He didn't wait for permission. He didn't shrink to make others comfortable. He didn't let the world tell him who he needed to become. Instead, he told the world, "This is who I am and I like me." What made him a star wasn't how he looked, it was how he made people feel. He made people feel safe. He made people feel seen. He made people feel okay to be themselves. And great leaders do the same. When you like you, you give permission to like themselves. When you bring your real identity to the table, you inspire others to do the same. When you stop performing and start being, your team becomes more honest, more creative, more committed, more courageous, more curious, because identity is leadership and leadership is identity. So take out a napkin and write out one sentence. I like me because, and finish it. Not with accomplishments, not with roles, not with external validation. Finish it with truth, just the way you are. Because once you anchor that identity, everything else, strategy, execution, growth, impact, becomes easier. Not because the world changes, because you do. And when you change in that way, unapologetically, fully, deeply, your business finally becomes a reflection of your true potential. Just like John Candy. Every leader ever decided to do this did this just this way. I like me. My spouse likes me. My customers like me because I'm the real deal. Make it a great day.